Welcome to a very special episode. My wife and I started taking pictures out in the world a number of years ago to share with family. My wife's father was unable to get out into the world and enjoy it. My parents just don't travel. So we started taking pictures, and we'd share the pictures with them on a tablet or Chromebook or TV or whatever, and that was okay. And then we thought, hey, we could, and we'd also share these, some of these pictures with our friends as well, and thought maybe we should do something more with them. So we started creating a calendar. So this is the calendar review. Dun dun dun. So I'm going to share with you some of the photos that were not used, and I'll tell you about our process. As I mentioned, this started a number of years ago. My wife and I were on a hike, and had a little bitty CyberShot camera. Actually, I think this is the one that we would take on our hikes. And it started one day when my wife said, you should take a picture of this mushroom, and this mushroom, and this mushroom, and this mushroom. So the next thing I knew, we weren't hiking as much as we were walking from mushroom to mushroom. So now it may take us hours to go a couple of miles when we hike because of all of the scenery that we're taking in. When people walk through the woods or take a hike through the woods or the mountains or wherever it may be, a lot of folks are just eyes forward and off from the start to the end. And something that I learned from walking properties with my dad, he was a look down at the ground kind of guy versus looking out or looking up. Typically the down would trigger the looking up. So you look at the ground and you notice what's on the ground. I was a Boy Scout. My dad was a hunter. So we spent a lot of time outdoors, and when you look down at the ground, you might see a deer track, which might get your attention, or you might see a pile of droppings, which gets your attention. It's like, well, is that a rabbit? Is that a deer? What is that? Oh, that's a bear. Let's probably, let's go the other way. So you see a deer track, and then you start to look around for other things. It's kind of like finding a four-leaf clover. Another thing that my father is great at. He can look at a patch of four-leaf clover, go standing up and go, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one. So the same thing, it becomes a bit of a game or a challenge to see who can find them first. Pennies in a parking lot, you're gonna have to fight my father to pick it up first. So that became one of those games. And so you look down at the ground, you see these things, and then you look up and you look around, you see all these other things. So we would enjoy what we were seeing out in the world more so than just passing it by. And again, the photos became a way that we could share our adventures with family. And so we decided to put together a calendar, as I mentioned earlier. So these are the pictures that did not make it to the calendar. And a lot of these were taken out at our new place, and then we went on a couple of hikes, and I can't always tell you when or where these were taken. I like macro photography. As you will probably be able to tell based on my pictures, taking a picture of a mushroom from the top, it just looks like a round thing, and it's a bit of a blob. This one reminded us of a baked potato. This one ended up being blurry, but more detail down here. This thing was huge. It was about the size of my two hands together, and there were like 5 of these things all in one area. So really interesting. My wife found a toad. These guys, again, I like the close-up, the macro stuff. Fun colors in nature. My wife likes the multicolored leaves. Well, that was kind of hanging off the screen a little bit there. But these fungi are a lot of fun. Turkey tails. These are always fun to look at because the colors can vary quite a bit, like you see here. And when they're on a stick, they'll kind of spiral around. Different turkey tails. And they get different shapes based on the way that the surroundings interact with them. Bugs or sticks or leaves or whatever may hit them and knock a chunk out of them, like you see down at the bottom, and then they just keep growing. This little snake was under a landscaping timber that we used to drive the skid steer up into the container. And these guys are just kind of funky. And again, I like the close-up, so this is where you get the detail. Lichen on a tree. That was on one of our trips, not in our backyard. This was on a hike around a lake. Same bug, different angle. Same hike. Same hike, lake. That's the lake in the background. And some of these are just, you know, a lot of fun. That one looks great in a much smaller image. Interesting composition with the wood falling away. Oh yes, and gotta have the ubiquitous, very close up of a spider web. The bits and pieces here, the tendrils, the turkey tails, and then the rotting stick. Very dark mushrooms in the gills. Little cluster of things. More spider webs. We took a lot of spider webs. There were hundreds of spider webs that actually didn't make it. These are beauty berries. We had acres of these this year. Oh, and each one of those berries, the little purple berries, is about the size of a peppercorn, so it's about that big. Mushroom in a tree. These guys are fun. That's a piece of pine straw in the foreground. The way the light comes through. Just slightly different composition. I believe this is Queen Anne's lace seeds up close. Because there's the Queen Anne's lace. Those were on our river trip, and this was in the driveway of the place that we stayed. It was tiny. I think the head was about the size of a quarter. And these are red chanterelles or cinnamon chanterelles or cinnabar chanterelles. And if you'll notice the size of some of the surroundings, and the colors are just breathtaking. But this is I think it's a white oak leaf, which is about that big in shape. And so this little guy is, you know, only about that tall, you know, 1.5 inches or so. And some of these other ones are really, really tiny. I mean, those were less than 1/2 inch tall. This might have been in my backyard. Different stages of the same mushroom. Oh, and love getting pictures of bugs on these things. So there's a couple of ants and other little creepy crawlies. Oops. Spoilers. I don't remember where that one is, but lots of fun colors, and you can see the gills almost look like they're starting to hang down. And so this is one of my fun things to do. I posted a video, short video of a dragonfly eating a spider, I believe. And with a macro lens, you have to, and also not shooting with a tripod in this particular case, your focal spot is really, really small. So in this case, I'm focusing on the body so you can get the hairs, and you can see the hairs on the legs, and you can see the veins in the wings. It's just really, really cool. And again, this is a massive picture that would be, you know, shown about this big. So his eyes are blurry, but there are other pictures where his eyes are a lot clearer. And again, you can see the little hairs sticking up. And this is one of the ones I didn't use because it was not great. It's the same guy who was very patient. He posed. This is a cicada wing that had fallen off of the cicada. I think it was on a mountain trip. Dragonflies around our backyard. This is over at the property. Another mushroom. Some of them are bland, but the shapes can be fun. And if you catch them in multiple stages, I think this is in our backyard, actually. Backyard. This we found out in the woods. I have no idea what it is. I Google lensed it and it's got nothing. I thought it was a fungus, but some of the results suggested that it's a flower. Did not look like a flower. Very creepy. These are our wild blueberries. See the blooms and then the green ones. Little drop of water and then the blueberries themselves. This guy's funky. And another obsession is drops of water. Oh, if you can find these. I took a picture in my backyard with my father in our garden, and I think the drop of water was on it's on something tall, so it might have been a corn leaf or something. This is before I had my really big lens, my really nice macro lens. After I took the picture, I zoomed in and I could actually see, not very clearly, but I could see my father's figure and my figure standing side by side in the water drop. This was at my cousin's son's wedding. More bugs. Tiny little mushroom. Not sure. It may be in the clover family. Box turtle. I think this was on one of our hikes. Oh, this is over at the new place. Snail shell. Tiny little flowers. Yeah, it's really focused in on this part, and you get some of this, but the bigger parts you lose detail. And this might be, no, I don't know if that's a chanterelle or not, but this is super tiny. This is moss that's maybe a 1/16 of an inch tall, and these are clumps of dirt. This is super small. A pine tree growing out of a knot hole of a knot pine tree. Very fuzzy mushroom. Very furry mushroom. That is the bloom off of a hydrangea. Ugly spider. That's a little pink flower that's about the size of a nickel. We have them in the backyard. They're very low to the ground. I think you can actually mow the grass over them and they stay there. Little green spider that was on my green spider. My MR2 spider? That'd be funny, wouldn't it? Strawberry bloom. We were picking strawberries. Another tiny little flower. Again, about maybe between a nickel and a quarter in size. That is not a blackberry. It's a dewberry bloom. A fiddlehead fern. One of the things I have to find every year. And this is our fiddlehead fern, and that's our creek behind the fern. Mushroom in a log. Again, they're just, the way that they pop up, they're a lot of fun. This is out at a new place too. I didn't use this one, and I was disappointed that I didn't, because this is a really good shot. Oh, and that loops us back around. Yay! See if I can find that one picture. That one. So you can't see me, but you can see the... Oh, that may be me. There's the sky. That's not me. But that's the sky behind the drop of water. And those are tiny little flowers. Again, about the size of a green pea. It's just insane what you can do or see if you take the time and slow down. Anyway, so these are the pictures that we took. And to give you an idea, I think I went through this folder and it was 62 gigs worth of information. And out of those There were 391 from this folder. There were 618 from this folder. There were 861 from this folder. So just a couple. And that's just getting started. And when we assemble the calendar, the last couple of years we've used Snapfish. I do not get paid anything by Snapfish. I'm not endorsing them. This is what I've used right now. I've used several other tools over the years. This is the one that has been most cost effective on a reoccurring basis without a special coupon or promotion. They're not giving me any money, and I'm not getting anything of benefit from this. Aw, and the little Santa hat went away. There was a Santa hat up there earlier. It was cute. The last couple of years we've used Snapfish. So if there was a Groupon that came out, we would buy a discounted calendar because, we're sending these to people plus other presents and stuff, and they can get expensive really quick. I mean, because some of the sites sell them for 25 or 40 bucks a piece. So you look, when you're buying 20 plus calendars, you look for a little bit of a discount. And it ends up that Snapfish most years discounts theirs down. And this is their interface. This is not this year's calendar because I don't want to give those away, but the interface is quite nice. You can randomly select, let's see, autofill, scratch, and replace existing photos. Yes, autofill, and boom. And this is usually where we start, and then we go from there. And each one of these is editable. This is one of my favorite pictures, and you can reposition them, you can scale them up and down, you can zoom, and you can edit, you can swap. So if you edit this, you can change the framing, you can enhance the color. Ugh. Ugh. That didn't do anything. You can adjust the brightness or the contrast, or you can put filters on there. Ugh. Cancel. Let's see. And then you can also add, got it. You can add photos to days of the year. And we do that with holiday, birthdays, things that are special to family and friends. So, oh, that's a writing spider. Oh, and you can add text. Anyway, the interface is really neat and really interesting. And depending on how you go about your project, you can spend a lot of time doing this. And we do. We do spend a lot of time in this, putting them together. But it's a lot of fun for us to share these. And so for the friends who are getting these this year, this is a preview, and for those of you who don't get these, this is one of my many hobbies. My wife and I gained a hobby because she said take a picture of that mushroom, and however many years later, I think we maybe about 10 years of calendars in now. If not, we're really close. Walks on the beach, sunrises, sunsets. I have stalked a number of long-legged, long-necked birds. Cranes? Call it a crane. Heron? Not herring. Herring's a fish. Quite a few sunrise and sunsets at the beach. This is one of my more favorite pictures. Silhouette. Oh, and if I want to bring, I can bring it to the front. Now you can see the whole thing. And if I wanted to swap this picture, you can swap and then click, and boom, it changes. The interface is really nice. The price is also nice too, and they're very speedy. These are some fun ones. These are some old pictures, but pelicans. Here's that. I told you we stalked this bird. My wife would stalk this guy, but I got him with a fish in his mouth. It's one of my happy pictures right there. One of my happy pictures. Oh, and here's a really fun, look at that. That's one of those, looks like a little rose. And so these things that, we have found, you can zoom in. That's it. Oh, that is This isn't from 21, I don't think. That is a prickly pear cactus at the gas station at the corner. Why not? See the red mulch? I've got a picture of a wasp, maybe it was last year's calendar, that was either eating or dragging a spider away. Look, cicadas, yay! Lots of cicadas, lots of mushrooms. A Luna moth. I think I've seen about 4 of these in the wild. This is one I got to document. Heads up, this is not what you're getting this year. You've already seen these pictures. Get the little bugs in flight. I have a lot of fun doing this. This, like I said, I get to nerd out with this particular hobby because of I've got a very long history of media and digital media going back to the late 80s, before I graduated high school. And in one of my professions as a college professor, focused on digital media. And then in industry as an instructional designer and project manager, heavy into graphics and design for training materials. And it's continued. Like I said, this was our second digital camera. So this one is probably like 2005, 2006. Our first, my wife gave to me as a wedding present. And it took memory sticks. That's what they're called. Sony memory sticks. Actually, I think this one also takes memory sticks. My wife wore this one out, drug it around for over a decade. I got her another one just like this because we got a really nice waterproof case that allows her to go in the water in the beach and take pictures of fish and all that fun stuff. A hobby. It's a lot of fun. Photos. Take photos. Our friend Robert asked his wife, Alicia, what's the best camera to take pictures with? And she said, the one that you have with you. So, smartphones. It's not the absolute best camera in the world, but it's better than not getting the picture at all. Take the opportunity to look at the world around you and capture whatever you see that is of interest. Share them. Share these things that you capture with family and friends. When you go on trips, take pictures. Share them with family and friends. If you want to do a calendar, hit me up in the comments below and I can give you a hand with that. Hope you enjoy it as a preview for the calendar. And these are the photos that didn't make it. Enjoy. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.
Too many hobbies, not enough time.
It's a theme song, y'all.